From 2008, we go to 2009. Hello, I'm TheZOMBIEJ. We're going to talk about the Glatorian and the Glatorian legends. There were two waves of characters, main canister sets. In the first half of 2009, you had the Glatorian sets. 6 different characters from 6 different tribes. From an entirely different planet, but yet also familiar, because, well, it was originally Spherus Magna at one point. And then it became Spherus Magna again after, well, Matanui used up the last of his power to kill Makuta and bring Spherus Magna back to where it should be. But yeah, so the first Glatorian, the poster child, I guess we could say, is Gresh. Now, Gresh was, he had lime green and obviously metro green. He had a shield-like thing that looked like a giant leaf of some sort, and a Thornax launcher. The blade can be split into 2 Tonfa-looking things, and this was pretty cool. He has spikes, the Mystica claw-like pieces of spike things in lime green as like things that protrude off the shoulders, but also on the upper legs. There are other recolors. He had an interesting spiky helmet. And yeah, then we got Terex from the Water Tribe, who had a breathing tube apparatus thing as part of his mask helmet thing. They're not masks, they're helmets, so this is getting confusing already. But he had a Mari tube that connected to that and goes somewhere else. He had 2 axe blades. One of them had a Thornax launcher attached to it, for whatever reason. His helmet kind of reminded me of, I don't know, a gladiator's helmet in a way, which was interesting. I think that's what they were going for. And really, the color scheme was just Metro Blue with gold. And so there were 3 golden Inika shoulder armor pieces on this set. And only 2 Inika feet in just standard blue. This was an interesting set. He also had like silver spiky barb things coming off of the shoulder armors. And this was a pretty cool looking set. I liked Terex. Then we got Strack from Iconics, the Ice Tribe. He had this axe looking weapon with a piston on it, and that's not how axes work. They don't have a piston thing. The logistics behind some of these weapons is weird. But this was a cool looking weapon. No pun intended. But the axe was just pretty awesome, and Strack himself was pretty awesome too. He had a unique build for his torso. He had a hunched look, and it was pretty cool. Keep in mind, all of these characters had the game piece attached to them, which I think was just a gimmick more than anything else, but eh. Strack also had ice coming off of his helmet thing, and also he had teeth of some sort. Fucking weird. He also had ice for like upper arm armor things that spiked up, which these look pretty frosty and awesome. Also had a Thornax launcher. They all had Thornax launchers in that year. That was the main projectile weapon of that year. Explosive fruit. So it's just a piece of rubber with plastic in it. Then came Malum. He cheated, obviously, or at least he tried to cheat and tried to kill another Glatorian, and thus he got banished to the sand dunes. So Malum, which I do have, I got him last year actually, so he has these fire claw things for hands, and he's got a shoulder mounted Thornax launcher, 2 Kalma feet as armor that displays up like that. Fire on the back of his helmet. His helmet looks pretty cool. His head sits more forward a little bit than usual. No, that's because, well, there was space that had to be taken up there. It was kind of a lazy build in a way in terms of the torso, but hey, it works. The torso armor was just the Mantax and Carapar armor pieces in a nice color. And he has Hordika feet, actual Hordika feet, in that 2009 Metro Blue. It's no longer Metro Blue, it's 2009, I mean red, sorry. It's 2009 red. It's a different shade than the 2004 and 5, and up until 2009, dark red, or Metro red. It's a different shade, and it can get confused. This was a cool set. He looked pretty fiery and spicy, I guess you could say. And I like Valum. It's pretty cool. Then you got Vorox, which is just a bestial animal sort of thing. It's got a stinger tail, unique build with a reverse torso. That way, this Mata foot, which has the bad socket design, you plug that on the back, and now he's got this tail stinger thing. Unique helmet, which is basically has a ton of stuff on the back and pincher things. So he has a weapon, a sword-like thing, and a Thornax launcher. This was mostly a tan set, including tan Paraka feet, claws that is, and the Vorox/Skrull armor in tan, which fades to a brownish color. Which the brown reminds me of AFAC brown, and yeah, it works pretty well. The arms on the armor on the upper arms was reversed, or like flipped under to where the upper legs, it was properly proportionate, I guess. So Vorox was pretty cool. He had the long neck syndrome thing, is been joked about a lot. And so Skrull, we have Skrull, which has a better torso design with his prototype, because he had waist articulation. But I think in order for the game to work, they had to, you know, get rid of the waist articulation. Vorox armor, he has chest armor, I think, and has upper leg armor. Colors were black and red, dark and evil sounding. Pretty interesting sword weapon thing with a Mari sort of hook blade thing in black, which was pretty cool to have that. There's the Thornax launcher built into this sword. The sword was looking pretty cool. There was a socket that was unused, which was unfortunate, but whatever. The classic saw blade shield, well, it's not classic. It's actually just a saw shield with the maze in it, which was interesting. It was a pretty cool design for a shield. And the sword piece is actually used as like armor that goes all the way up like that. And Skrull's helmet being long, but with a more bulbous front end, kind of reminds me of a xenomorph in a way. This reminds me more of a xenomorph than Krika's mask. So, and the Skrull were bad guys, obviously. So, the Glatorian sets from 2009, the first wave, were very bright and vibrant colors. So it was a return to form in a way in terms of like the bright and cheery, fun colors. I mean, not like Candyland colors, but you know what I mean. It was kind of like a throwback to 2001 era Bionicle with some bright colors and whatnot. And it was nice to see that. And it was nice to see that along with the Agori as well, which had some bright colors to them as well. And some elemental sort of feeling sort of bits on these sets, like Malum having fire on his claws and on his mask, or helmet thing. This game really confusing. And Skrull having rocky texture on his, well, on his helmet and on his shield. So overall, this first wave was pretty promising. But they weren't Toa. And I think that's what everybody was expecting, was Toa out of this. And that's not realistic. They weren't going to give us Toa in 2009. Story-wise, probably, but not in set-wise. Then came the Glatorian Legends in the summer half of 2000, or the second half of 2009. First off, we've got Motunui. Motunui is the main set you go for with this team of characters. So this was kind of like an expansion of the Glatorian from the first half of 2009, but these were the legendary ones. Really, I mean, there were some veteran Glatorians in this line, but Motunui was the new one that you go for, and he's really expensive on eBay for no reason other than to, you know, fill people's pockets full of or wallets full of cash. That's ridiculous. Stop doing that. Give everybody a fair chance at buying this fucking set. Bastards. And Motunui was pretty cool. He had the Mask of Life, a helmet version of it. He had the Krika and Onua Mystica chest armor piece. He had all sorts of Keytorange and black parts. He had a new part, which was the silver shield weapons, which were also in Keytorange for his upper armor. He had a Thornax launcher for no reason, really. I mean, they only did that because they could. You could get a 3D printed version of the movie sword, and that's pretty cool. Ideally, I would rather have that sword be in polypropylene, like with the shield, but yeah. Motunui also had the angle guard pieces in Keytorange, Keytorange Inika feet, Keytorange Inika legs, Keytorange, the new upper arm bone piece thing, whatever you want to call it, which you can mount things off to the side instead of off to the front, so it's cool. And the Motoro Mari shoulder armor pieces as hip armor. They don't attach those really well. They only attach via that Tobal joint in light gray with the plus rod. Really, you should be putting light gray 3 long axles into that as well to make it more stable, because otherwise it could pop off. I haven't had that experience yet, but that's what I did to secure it. And then you have Akar, who has the barracks helmet for whatever reason. I guess because the back thing of the helmet looks fiery almost. Makes sense. He has red and orange parts. So he's got he's a fairly tall build too. You try to stretch him out as best as possible. He had a fire sword with the Motunui shield-like piece as well, and the Thornax launcher. Dark gray fists for some reason, as if he has gloves. Wow. Parts we've seen before, as well as recolors. There was plenty of recolors in these in the Glatorian lines. Then we got Kina, who has just, you know, the same thing going on with her upper arms and upper legs, where it's the new limb piece with the sockets and the side mounting things, but with her spiky armor on both. Her lower legs and lower arms are both Rakshi legs in dark blue, and she has Inika feet in a light blue color. She has a Thornax launcher, of course. She has a manta ray styled helmet, which I thought was pretty cool, actually. She had more of a feminine build as well, which I thought was pretty cool. She also had her trident weapon. It's a double trident, actually, so it's kind of weird. But hey, it's cool. Gelu is the ice character in this wave, and he looks pretty cool. He has a recolor of the Unika chest armor piece in white, which is good, so that's cool. He has a sleek and streamlined, like, thing going on with his helmet. It looks pretty damn cool. He's got those Meta shield halves as on the back of his upper arms. There's armor we've seen before, and limbs we've seen before, feet we've seen before, but he also has a thorax launcher and a double-bladed ice jet weapon, which was pretty cool. Then we got Vastus, which some people don't like Vastus for no reason. He is perfectly fine in my opinion. I mean, yeah, there are some problems with him, but I think he's fine. The connection for the belly armor is kind of interesting to do that. They had to reverse the torso, and the colors are lime green and dark green. He has snakes going on with his scythe weapon, and you have this vine-looking thing going down to the Thornax launcher. He has a two-handed weapon, and he has snakes, bionicle snakes that are, you know, armor attachments. Why not? He has snakes on his helmet, which also reminds me of a gladiator helmet in a way, but just, you know, without the snakes. He also has Unika feet, Hordika lower legs, and everything else we've seen before, pretty much. But since the torso is reversed, they needed a way to attach the game piece. And in order to do that, they just put a couple of perpendicular pieces, that was hard to say, via blue 3 long pins, and there you go. So Vastus is pretty cool. I like Vastus. I don't think he's as good as Gresh, but I think both of them have a lot to offer, honestly. And finally, there's Stronius, which is part of the Skrull folks, Skrull tribe, you know. But it's kind of another type of Skrull. Like, it's got a caveman sort of feel to him, like with the club thing, and yeah, colors are black and recolored dark red. There's a lot of rocky structures going on here, details going here, well, with the shoulder armor, and which ends in like long protrusions, and the torso armor has rockiness as well. It's the same piece, but and then the protrusion looks like he's got a cock, basically. The torso build is somewhat more unique because of the armor attachments, and he does have the long neck syndrome thing. And his helmet looks pretty rocky as well. Very good build, I must say, this set is. And I did get that as my first set from the Minifig Shop. Shout out to them for their help with rebuilding my collection a little bit. So, we'll be going there next week. So, what else is there to say? Oh yeah, the Knights Kingdom Mace half pieces in black. Those are nice to have as well. Thorax launcher. That's it. So, really, the Legends had a lot to offer as well. There was still some bright, fun colors. Matanui having Keat orange instead of tan, which I think is great. But it felt like there was elemental sort of vibes going on with the Glatorians and the Glatorian Legends sets. It was hard to tell what Matanui's would be, other than, well, Life, obviously, because, you know, the Mask of Life. But he's got that Scarabax shield sort of thing going on, so I guess his spirit animal is the Scarabax? I don't know. He's got a pet named Click. Yeah. That's annoying, but roll with it. But it feels like the first wave of Glatorian was just so pretty damn good, actually, that the Legends sort of suffered a little bit from a lack of creativity in some ways. I'd say creative-wise, Kina's build is the best in terms of looks as well, and creative. It's a very creative build because her torso is more feminine, and overall she is just a fantastic set too. Matanui's done rather well. Akar is pretty tall, and we've seen build his stuff done before. You can build a mock out of it. Vastus had some stuff going on for him. Stronius had some good ideas with the torso build, and Gelu was just pretty much an Anika build for the most part. And yeah, so overall, these Glatorian sets, the Glatorian and the Glatorian Legends, were pretty good, but they weren't Toa. Everybody was expecting Toa to come out of 2009, and we didn't. You got Titan Matanui, which is the closest thing to Toa you're going to get, because they put Toa in the name of the set. It's Titan Matanui, you bunch of fucking idiots. Wake the fuck up. That's another thing we got, was 2 Matanuis. Canister set version, which is expensive for no reason. And the rare, somewhat rare, Torsos exclusive, Titan Matanui, which is only expensive because of the mask. All of the other pieces you could get in other sets, probably. But there's no reason to bump up the cost of Titan Matanui because of the mask. Stop doing that. Give me a fair chance to buy the fucking set at retail price. $50. Thank you. Idiots. I mean, seriously, I want that set, but I'm not going to spend $300 fucking on it. That's ridiculous. And even more than that. Even $100 is too much. Retail price is the best I'm willing to pay, and that's $50. Complete. No cracks. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. But, yeah. If I do see Titan Matanui, I will try my best to get him. But, yeah. There was another Glatorian in the, vehicle set that was, his name was Perditus, but he was part of the Fire Tribe, and, he had an interesting helmet, and just a decent build overall. That's basically it. So there was, you could see there was actually 7 Glatorians, in total, not counting, Tuma. He's a Titan build, he's not a Glatorian, obviously. There were Glatorian characters that were not seen in the comics, but they were in the story, and we didn't get sets of these characters. Like Sertovis and others, So, overall, what's there left to say about the Glatorians and the Glatorian Legends? Well, Legends-wise, my favorites are Matanui and Kina. I don't think I would ship them, but yeah. As for the original wave of Glatorians, I don't know if I have a favorite. They're all pretty damn good. I'd have to say, if I did have a favorite, it would probably be Terex. Probably because of those axes, and he just looks pretty damn good. He looks great. I'd say Strack is a close second, mostly because that axe. And, yeah, I like axes for some reason. Chop your ass with my axe. What the fuck? But he just has a unique build in terms of, being a hunch character, which is pretty cool. You don't see many of those. But other than that, I'd say Gresh is probably the most overrated. Probably because, well, A, he's the poster boy of the Glatorians, and B, I mean, everybody likes Gresh for the most part, it seems. I'd say Skrull is also a pretty good set, too. I like Skrull. I like the prototype a bit, but there was something about the prototype that didn't really speak well with me. It feels like if you combined aspects of the prototype with the actual set that we got, you get a pretty damn good set. Like if you get the if you give the set version of Skrull the prototype torso, I think it would have come out much better. So that way you still have the other aspects of the set from retail. So it would be pretty cool. That way you didn't have to well, sacrifice that sword weapon and some other parts, you know. Hell, even in the prototype images, that lone sword piece was just used. There was nothing else. They just added on to it because they had to have a Thornax launcher somewhere. It was a gimmick. So, yeah. But the Glatorians and the Glatorian Legends, they had diverse builds for the most part. Some of them were a little samey for the most part. I think that's why sales were starting to drop. Similar builds and similar stuff going on here. We've all seen it before. But the diversity is there in terms of like the colors and other designs as well. I mean, this was a very great, very good. Alexa, stop. This was a pretty good year for Bionicle, even though it wasn't on the Matoran universe. So, overall, the Glatorians, great wave. Glatorian Legends, still a great wave. But both waves had their problems. Not all of them, not all of these sets were subject to problems. So, well, what do you think of the Glatorians and the Glatorian Legends? Let me know in the comment section below. I've got one more video for y'all today, so stay tuned for more videos. I am TheZOMBIEJ. I'll see you folks there. Have a good fucking day, and peace.